Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 672, recorded live on Tuesday, April 12th. I'm your host, Patrick. Show's a little late this week because, hey, there's a preview this week that was actually supposed to do a early content preview yesterday. Didn't happen because SSG lost power. So, yeah, that happened. So that preview is today. Which means I'll be doing the show by myself today, just because of adjusting to that scheduling funness. But we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons Online, which we do nearly every weekend. You can watch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website at DDOCast.com. DDOCast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be this Friday, so not very many days from now. We're going to interview Tolero, the new producer for DDO. So we're doing that in the early afternoon, morning, depending on where you are, live on Friday. You can stay updated by following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com, with our calendar. On the podcast this week, we're going to be previewing Tabaxi, update 52.3. Dropped on Lemania, like I said, so we'll be looking at that. We also have another update. Update 53.1 came out this week. And then also, at least if you're listening live, on the back half, I'll kind of go through some of the stuff on Lemania and kind of show some of the cat Tabaxi looks, and there's also some of the preview, pre-order stuff, which we'll go find and look at that as well. So if you're listening to this side of the podcast, check us out on YouTube, and you can find those videos as well. That'll take us to game news. So like I said, there was update 53 patch 1 was released Wednesday, April 6th, so last week Wednesday. Wow, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but yeah, there you go. So notes from that: Abyssal Shard and Warlock now has visual effects. A variety of Alchemist class tree toggles now remember their states better. And Canon's crafting now allows you to craft the impact suffix. They corrected an issue that caused a bard's spell song vigor to drop sometimes when teleporting. That's nice. I like the vigor. It's like one of the best ones. Fadark Illusionist displacement now stacks correctly. Shifter's True Hunter no longer claims to give petrification immunity and properly gives freedom of movement. I already knew that was true, but I really liked it thinking it was petrification immunity. We have that instead. Shifter's shifts and Fiendish Arpeggio may now be used while moving. Those are kind of nice. Second Claw and Razor Claw Shifter no longer mentions offhand double strike, which was deprecated a while back. Walker's Guidance in Horizon Walker now gives its listed bonuses to saving throws versus traps. Wood Elf's bonuses to Falchion damage now correctly grants +2 damage at ranks 1 and 3. Lightning Strikes the Mountain no longer costs double its spell points. Yeah, that was really annoying, actually. I noticed that a while back and thought I was missing something or what was going on. But, yeah, that's it's a little weird. See, Enduring Beast and Nature's Protector now grants its listed shield strength bonus. Bard War Trainer Spinning Ice no longer has an extra Yor in its tooltip. Embed Component no longer mentions tree form since that ability no longer exists. Once again, rip tree form. Kind of fun. Would have worked. Storm's Eye in Frenzied Berserker now increases flat damage by 1 per stack instead of just melee damage. And the Great White Wolf in Nature's Warrior now provides its listed spell power. Epic Destinies. Shadow Dancer Epic Strike improvements are now decoupled from one another, allowing you to mix and match Tier 3 and 4 benefits. Hey, that's great. I love that. Weathering Elements now grants its correct 25 protection per caster level. Divine Crusader's Divine Smite now heals more reliably. Draconic Reinvigoration is now better at regenerating all action boosts. Primal Avatar's Thunder Snow Slow effect no longer works on bosses. Don't worry, I'm sure there will be another effect that will slow bosses. Seems to come up every once in a while. They corrected some typos in the Destiny Mantle for Fury of the Wild. Lunar Imbuement now correctly grants negative spell power for Gloomlance instead of cold spell power. The following Epic Destiny Tier 5 abilities now cost 1 action point. Blessed Blades, Bring Down Wrath, Imposing Force, Just a Taste, Ruin Intensified, and Spread Your Wings. That's great. That should kind of even out some of the power in some of the Epic Destinies just because of how they, the point cost at some of those tier 5 abilities was higher, a lot higher in some trees than others. Shadow Dancer's Dimension Door no longer needs to be cast while targeting yourself. Shiradi's Prism, Stay Good, and Stay Frosty now have a 5% chance of proccing their damage on spellcast. Shiradi's Prism, Stay Good, and Stay Frosty damage effects now scale with 50% spell power for casters. We'll come back to this. Shiradi's Champion Pin now lasts its listed 12 seconds. That's great. Love Pin. Pin's great. Unyielding Sentinel's Resurrection SLA no longer shares a cooldown with the spell. Legendary Fury of Blows now tells you what it does correctly. This is a guard-breaking effect, not a knockdown. And Knight's Transformation now looks correct when viewing it from a different character, as in on another client. For feats, the Veil of Elements feat that hides your elemental wild shape visual now works on other players' game clients, so it's not just you that's going to see it, everyone else will see it too. Items that grant a Reaper bonus now stack with each other. That's good. Reaper bonuses on rings now stack correctly. They removed erroneous text related to cash levels from several legacy slow burst effects. Healing amplification augments now have their correct typing in their tooltips. Green Silver Generation should no longer fall off when transitioning between zones. Steel Star's coffees now work while moving. Thank you. Holy cow, was that annoying. Bucklers with erroneous arcane spell failure have had their arcane spell failure set to 0. Yay! The maximum dexterity bonus of the Hide the Hunter has been set to appropriate values. Stalwart and Sacred Defense stances should now persist through log out and log in. I haven't actually noticed that working. I'm not sure that's working correctly or not. Or maybe it's just because I haven't logged into those characters very much. I'm not sure. One of the two is true. New copies of the heroic level accessories from the Chronoscope now have augment slots. The Greater Dragon Mark of Passage can now take you to the Gatekeeper's Grove and Lower Acropolis option. Now actually take you to where it says it does. Okay, so they can now go to Gatekeeper's Grove, and the Lower Acropolis option takes you to where it's supposed to. Legendary Wolf Whistle Summon Monster now respects summoned monster limits. Oops. The Heroic Auto Stone of Experience no longer mentions the old Epic Destiny system, which is weird. Why does the Heroic one mention the Epic Destinies? Okay. The issue still persists for the Epic and improved Epic Stones of Experience. Several robes now have the correct invisible icons. Grimm's Bone Bracers no longer drop with Trinket Mythic bonuses. Legendary Stone Prism no longer works in reverse. The legendary Jiz Taka no longer loses buffs upon death. Spell penetration augments have been adjusted upwards to match the scaling of named and random loot. Yay. The Manectran Scavenger set bonus now provides its listed PRR. Tomes of Fate now have accurate tooltips to reflect what a fate point represents. Again, can we just get rid of fate points and just make them destiny points? Come on. Demon Scale Armor Heroic is now part of its set. New copies of the legendary Death Warden and Scold Ring now have a higher exceptional spell power. It's kind of fun. Reaper crafting recipes for glove and goggles have been adjusted to allow for the 5 Reaper fragment turn-in. Great. The corrected estate where slots would be able to be hit for 0 damage while in an entranced state. I assume that means like when they're coming in and out, or like they're coming into the game kind of a thing. Activating. Several champion damage over time effects now have internal cooldowns to prevent spam deaths. And several are now set to remove all stacks instead of one at a time. I'm looking at you, Soul of Cruelty. I'm hoping that's the one that's targeted there, because those ones hurt. They fixed an issue that could cause artificers to sometimes randomly dismount. Weird. And Hunt or Be Hunted. Shogrim, the Herald of the Hunt, will now only speak to one person at a time. That's probably good. The Master of a Hunt's force damage strike is now less likely to occur than the other damage types. That's great. Epic and I have talked on this about the show previously, where that one hits kind of hard. It's great that it's going to be less impactful. Monsters in the Sands of a Nectarine no longer drop empty loot bags. Several quests in the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh can now be shared. Let's see. Too Hot to Handle. They fix an issue with summoned monsters that cause flame barriers to not open at the correct time. Barriers should now also open more quickly than before. Yeah, that was kind of annoying in that occasionally at the beginning of that raid, the flame barriers wouldn't go down. You couldn't progress for a little bit. They also corrected a visual effect bug when the forge race died that could cause the client's frame rate to drop. That's good because they die a lot. So we want those to not be problematic, especially in a raid that already is kind of historically laggy. So spells, Angel Skin, Animal Growth, and Righteous Command have all had their durations corrected in their tooltips. Prismatic Strike now gains cast levels from the correct sources to reflect that it is a Fire, Force, and Electric spell. And the Alchemist spells Melt Armor, Voltaic, Backlash, Crowed Weapons, and Cold Spike now have correct dice in their tooltips. Kind of fun. UI, they've made an adjustment to some assets to allow them to be used by our player user interface skinning community. If you're an experienced DDO UI skinning creator, you should now have access to replace several assets that you previously could not. Please let us know about your experience. So, looking forward to seeing what some folks come up with. That's kind of fun. The game now tells you why trying to augment an item with a legacy augment slotted will not work. The unspent action point alert now counts your points correctly. I feel like that's only been wrong for like 15 years. The delete all button for confirmed mail now shows a more accurate warning message. The Alchemist past life icon has been updated. They have improved the visibility of world shutdown messaging. This messaging is now a blue global announcement text in the chat window and will additionally display a notice in the middle of the screen. That's good. I think it was above, kind of on the upper half of the screen before. I'm not sure why it needs to be blue. I feel like red worked well, but sure, blue, okay. LFMs now display their difficulty on the listing itself without needing someone to hover over them. I like this change. That's been really nice this last week. You can actually see what difficulty people are running. It doesn't differentiate between skulls, it just picks Reaper, but still it's better. LFMs can now properly display Epic Reaper as a difficulty. That's fun. An adjustment has also been made at smoothing game performance during character login. Cool. Like game performance, so. Alright, that's the release notes for Update 53 Patch 1. Steelstar chimed in about Shirati procs. It says, okay, so let's break down the factors in the Mantle-based proc damage from Shirati, Draconic, and Exalted Angel, assuming they're level 30. The four main factors here are damage dice, scaling percent, proc rate, which is the chance for the effect to apply when the effect is not on cooldown, and the cooldown. Draconic has 30d6 plus 180 dice at 100% spell power scaling, 100% proc rate, 5-second cooldown. Exalted Angel is 30d3 plus 90 and another 30d3 plus 90 dice, 100% spell power scaling, 15% proc rate, 5-second cooldown. The Shirati was 30d1 or 3d100 plus 100 and another 3d100 plus 100 dice, 100% spell power scaling, 30% proc rate, 0.1 second cooldown. And then he noted that Stave, Good, and Frosty currently say they scale at 200%, but that's incorrect. They're actually at 100%. On the top end, assuming fast casting and perfect luck, Shirati procs are dealing more than double damage than the others and occur 50 times as often as the others just due to the cooldown. Granted, you'll never hit that exact level of luck or cast 10 spells per second, but when you average it out, Shirati is still capable of doing significantly more damage than the other Mantle procs. So post-patch, it's going to be 3d100 plus 100, and another 3d100 plus 100 dice, 50% spell power scaling, 5% proc rate, and 1% 1 second 0.1 second cooldown, which is the same cooldown. So it's half the spell power scaling means your potential for double the damage compared to others evens out somewhat, especially as you get into higher and higher spell power. And even with a 5% chance to proc when off cooldown, you're still going to see it more frequently on average than procs in the other mantles. They wanted to retain Shirati's signature frequency of procs here, so they were hesitant to touch the cooldown. It is still has the potential to hit far more often than other Mantle procs. With the new numbers, a Shrouded caster casting at a single target may fall behind a similar Draconic or Exalted Angel caster's proc damage, but they also might come ahead. That largely depends on how often it does proc and if they're dealing any area of effect. They're quite likely to stay ahead. Ultimately, if they did end up moving the needle too low, it'll be easy to resolve. They will have eyes on it. So, there you go. They will, and actually, when we get to Update 53 Patch 2 notes, that is true. They did make some more adjustments with that. Speaking of Update 53 Patch 2, we'll get into those notes now. This will feature the preview is featuring the this is preview 1 of this update. They're going to have it open until approximately 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday, April 15th. Update 53.2 will feature the pre-sale rewards for the upcoming expansion pack, the Isle of Dread, and this preview showcases the new Tabaxi race and Tabaxi Iconic, as well as mounts and hirelings for pre-sale. To access Tabaxi on the preview server, speak to Lord Pointslot in the Dread Overlook, reach through a portal in the middle of the test dojo to be granted preview server-specific DDO points, and then purchase the races in the DDO preview store. You'll then be able to log out or reincarnate and choose Tabaxi. So, a couple things right off the bat. This means that we will probably be getting pre-sales, I would guess not next week, but the week after. Just kind of a guess, based on kind of what they have that needs to be worked on still with the vaccine and stuff like that. So I'm guessing another 2 weeks at least. But we'll probably see pre-sale for at least a month. So probably Isle of Dread coming out late May, early June. Kind of how that math works out. We'll kind of see if that holds true or not. In addition to the highlighted presale items, this preview features the following changes. Eldritch Knight's elemental damage dice should now be more reliably add up. Eldritch Knight's Force Point no longer spams your combat log. Shrouded Chain can now be used while quelled. Regeneration no longer has visual effects and therefore no longer has visual effect bugs. Not sure that that's better. I mean, I guess not having visual effect bugs is good, but not knowing that you're regenerating is kind of weird. Green Steel Regeneration no longer disables on death. Nice. Raging Blows in Barbarian now correctly grants its +1 W. Palemaster Undead Shrouds now persist through logout better. Holy Mantle from Design Crusader also should persist through logout better. The Abyssal Shroud from Warlock should persist through logout better. Shroud's Pin now grants its listed 3W instead of 1W. Shroud's Pin no longer has a DC, since the DC was never going to work. Okay, sure. Killer Instinct now has a removal floaty text to make it clear when it wears off. Storm's Eye now has no removal floaty text, since that makes it insanely visually obstructive. Okay. Sign of the Astral Plane no longer disables on death. Good. Monsters casting Flame Strike will damage players again. Yay. Okay. Let's see. Some gameplay changes. When you release from a dungeon while dead, you will be brought back to 20 hit points instead of 1 hit point. Hey, that's fantastic. Among other things, that should mean that if you hit the button for buffs at your airship, you aren't going to die. So that'll be nice. Trap the Soul has gotten an overhaul. There is no more hit dice limit on this spell, and there's only one variant. This spell now gives you the regular gem for all CRs. Canneth crafting recipes just use that one regular gem. And they changed the cooldown to 10 seconds. The sorcerer remains at 8. That should make it a lot more handy, for sure. Wow. It actually kind of makes it a viable spell. I assume you still need the special ingredients for it, but better. Shrouded caster mental changes. Hey, here we go. So all proc dice have been raised to 7d77. Spellcast scaling has been raised to 100%, which is funny because they just... Sure. Proc rate has been raised to 7%. The elements offered have changed. Now you may select from Light, Force, Poison, or Sonic. Um, this is just really confusing now. Like we're raising all of this stuff. These must be the I don't know. I don't even know what's going on anymore with Stratocasting. um, I I don't know where these numbers are going to end up. Shrade's got some fun math to it, anyways. But yeah, so Stratocaster is just going to be changing for a while, I guess, until they find the place where they like it to be. Great, cool. Some UI changes. Hovering over your Epic Destiny points now displays a context-sensitive tooltip that reports your points breakdown. Great. That should make it a lot easier to tell how many points you have and how many you're supposed to have. The LFM UI difficulty display element has been adjusted to be more vertically centered. Hovering over weapon now factors in the improved critical feat. The character sheet has gotten a minor visual upgrade in its layout. It now shows you your total level instead of your total action points. Several text and bounding box inconsistencies have been fixed involving bad element placement. The saves label is now saving throws and is the proper font. And the base attack bonus box is now lined up correctly. A variety of UI improvements relating to how we display character level has been made. Your character sheet no longer shows the Epic class in its class breakdown. When someone requests to join your LFM, you will now see their total level in parentheses and then their class breakdown, which will no longer include their Epic class levels. See, the character selection screen will no longer display your Epic class levels. Examining a player now shows their total level and then their class breakdown, and the class breakdown no longer displays their Epic level. The guild, who, and LFM displays for players no longer show their Epic levels as part of their class breakdown. I love these changes. For starters, it's going to make things less cluttered. Secondly, look, whenever someone joins, you have to do the math and add up the numbers, which, okay, fine. But a lot of people don't want to do math. I don't want to do math. I'm playing a game. Just tell me what level they are. This is better. There's also a new gameplay option. Force heals to self when targeting undead, which defaults to false. While true, when you have an enemy undead targeted, any positive healing actions will be cast on you instead of the undead. That's great. I'm probably going to change that for all of my characters to not try to heal undead. That sounds way much better. Yay. Love that. Also, Steel Star wrote added on. This was mixed because it was in the Tabaxi stuff, but it applies to every race. Quarterstaff attacks while moving now have a hitbox size equal to that of other two-hand weapons while moving. So that'll be nice. All right, so that'll take us to the Tabaxi portion of the release notes. So there's a Tabaxi race and Tabaxi Trailblazer Iconic have been added. Few known issues. They still have lingering animation adjustments that need to be done. If something doesn't look right, please let them know exactly what you were doing and what kind of weapons you were holding and whether you were male or female, so they can run down all of those. The recommendation text for Tabaxi and Trailblazers in character creation has not yet been added. Female Tabaxi do not have their hair customization options yet in the build. Some Tabaxi and Trailblazer enhancements have not yet been moved horizontally into the tree to logically line up with abilities above and below them. A few enhancements are in the process of being replaced. They have been noted below. Tabaxi are a base race that starts in Eberron, resembling cats. They are a dexterous race that are light on their feet. Their innate feat allows them to move quickly after spending a short time planning their next move. They make good rogues, bards, and monks. That's pretty typical for kind of what they're supposed to look like in terms of pen and paper. The base stats are +2 to dexterity and a starting feat, feline agility. After standing still for 6 seconds, when you move again, you gain a +30% action boost bonus to movement speed for 6 seconds. That could be a lot of fun. See how that plays out, but I think that could be a lot of fun. Tabaxi racial past lives. You get +1 to tumble, then dexterity, and then the standard racial action point. They're trees. So we'll go through the enhancement tree kind of quickly here. Core 1 is 1% dodge. Actually, Core 1 and 3 are both 1% dodge and +1 maximum dexterity bonus in light armor. Multi-selectors at 2 and 4 are +1 dex or +1 charisma. And at Core 5, you get 1% dodge and dodge cap, as well as +1 maximum dexterity bonus in light armor. Tier 1, Sharp Claws gives you up to +3 attack in 3 tiers. Cat Scratch is an active 2W single target melee attack. This is a custom animation, a wide swipe with the offhand. With two-handed fighting and single weapon fighting, you'll hold the melee weapon in just the main hand. Use your main hand weapon for damage unless you have an offhand weapon equipped. Kind of interesting. Sure. 3 tiers of acrobatic, which give +3 to balance, tumble, and jump, and +6 to AC while tumbling. Land on your feet. You don't take falling damage. That's a really low-hanging fruit for that, but that's kind of fun. Sneaky Strikes, +1 sneak attack dice. Tier 2, Sneaky Claws gives you up to +3 while attacking while flanking. Hunt Down, your cat scratch now hamstrings opponents for 3 seconds, reducing their movement rate by 50%. High Places, after falling for at least 1.5 seconds, when you land, you gain +2 critical hit confirmation, +2 critical hit damage, and +25 armor piercing for 20 seconds. Interesting. Fun. How is that gonna work exactly? Doesn't seem like something you do a whole lot, but sure, okay. Can you jump and fall that long? I don't think you can. Honed Reflexes. You gain the benefits of the deflect arrow feat, knocking aside one incoming projectile that would have struck you every 6 seconds. Slip Out of Danger. Up to +6 saves versus traps. And at rank 3, you gain +1 to reflex save. Stabby Claws, Tier 3, +3 melee damage, 3% dodge bypass, Natural Climber, 50%. This is one that's actually going to come out. They couldn't get it to work. It was going to be 50% movement speed while climbing ladders and other climbable surfaces, such as vines. But they're going to replace that. Focused Agility. Your feline agility now only requires you to stand still for 3 seconds and last for 9 seconds. That's cool. Sneaky Strikes, another +1 sneak attack dice. This is starting to strike me as it might be really nice for a ranger bow build kind of thing. It could be fun. Feline Versatility, Lash Out, 5% offhand strike chance if using a light melee weapon or a rapier in both hands. Rapid Scratch, +3 double strike with single weapon fightings. Quick Paw, +3 double shot with thrown weapons, or a Vigor SLA. Deep Scratches, your cat scratch now deals bane damage to targets it hits that are vulnerable to bleed. Damage is equal to 1d8 damage +1 per character level and scales with melee power. So, not a lot. Fast Sprinter, your feline agility now grants a 50% action boost to movement speed and lasts for 18 seconds. Making it really good. Like almost having permanent action boost just by stopping for 6 seconds. Great for combat and moving around. 9 lives, you gain Rogue's defensive roll feat. And Lucky Cat, you gain evasion if you don't have it. So that'll be fun. Okay, Tabaxi Trailblazers. These are iconics that start in Sharn with 1 level of Monk. Passed down between generations of Tabaxi. The title Trailblazer represents the Tabaxi's ability to always find a way forward. Like standard Tabaxi, they gain the ability to negate falling damage and move with quick bursts of speed. They can gain True Seeing and gain defensive bonuses when they dodge and tumble. They also use their expanded dexterity to excel with quarterstabs, gaining offensive bonuses with the weapons and abilities to use them to trip all nearby enemies. So their base stats, +2 dexterity, base feat, same base feat. They also have a unique set of quarterstaff attack animations. Those who like those, they seem to be doing that more often these days. The iconic Past Life feat is +1 to trip DCs per stack of the life, up to 3. A passive bonus of +1 to saving throws versus traps per stack of the Past Life, up to 3. Yay. That's pretty... The passive's pretty low there. So probably not one that a lot of people are going to go for, but sure, okay. Tabaxi Trailblazer Tree. Here's the notes for that. So again, Core 1, 2, 1, 3, and 5 all give 1% dodge, 2% dodge bypass, and Core 5 gives you a dodge cap. I believe the dodge bypass is for attacking, so you hit things better. I believe that's how that's going to work. The multi-selector is also dexterity and charisma. Tier 1, instead of the claw attack, you'll have low blows, which is +3 to trip DCs, doubled if you have a quarterstaff equipped. That's kind of fun. Tier 2, Wayfinders. I'm just going to read the ones that are different. So Tier 2, Wayfinders weapons. Wooden weapons you are wielding are immune to damage. That's kind of fun. That's replacing Hunt Down. Let's see. In Tier 3, you can get Great Weapon Aptitude. So that's up to 20% double strike if you have two-handed fighting. They also have Stealthy, up to +3 hide, move silent, and 50% movement speed while sneaking. And in rank 3, while you're centered and sneaking, your passive Q regeneration is increased by 1. That has some fun applications. We'll to see how that works. See, that looks like that is replacing Corner and Natural Climber are the two that you're getting there. At rank 4, the only thing that's the same is the Fast Sprinter. But you get Wide Sweep, which is a melee quarterstaff trip cleave attack. +5 weapon to all nearby enemies and trips them. Shares a cooldown with Great Cleave, so you don't have to take Great Cleave with this. Staff Deflection. While holding a quarterstaff, when deflect arrow triggers, you gain a 10% action boost bonus to double strike for 6 seconds. Kind of fun. Cat's Eye. You have True Seeing, which cannot be dispelled from you. And Escape Artist. When you tumble, you gain 25% incorporality and 25% concealment for 20 seconds. Can trigger only once per minute. That's kind of fun there. Like Tabaxi Monks, I think that's a great choice for an iconic. I still love that iconics are slightly different than what you might think they would be. So this one looks like a lot of fun there. Let's see. Bonus days. So this was through the weekend. It was a Strength in Numbers weekend. Obviously, that is over now. See, the store sales for the week. Tools of the Trade, 20% off of Augment Bags, Select Augments, Jewelers, and Sentient Toolkits, Green Steel Extractors through April 14th. Let's see, weekly coupon is free long-lasting Bull's Might potions ×5. The coupon code Extra Mighty through April 14th as well. Let's see. Yeah, so that'll wrap up the show for the week. There's no community news. We didn't have any lightning post. But we will, if you're listening live, I'll be on Lamani here shortly, and we'll kind of look at what Tabaxi look like and what the new stuff looks like. If you're not listening to this live, you're just listening to the podcast, I invite you to come over to our YouTube page, and we'll have a video there probably Wednesday evening-ish. We'll probably get that video up. So that'll be available for you to look at as well. So thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to all the folks that help make DDOCast happen. Thanks to Sandstone Games, Wizard of the Coast, and the Cyber Ears. If you would like to support the podcast, you can visit our website at DDOCast.com or support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage or a Twitch studio and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at ddocast.com for our show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff, including various adventures in DDO, some D&D tabletop, and even some other stuff. If you have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, leave a comment or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. Again, we're going to be interviewing Tolero for the next show in a couple of days. So if you have some stuff you'd like to maybe have us ask her, let us know that as well. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.